Do you like listening to things? Awesome! This video is Audible, and it's also sponsored by Audible. Do you see what I did there? Start listening with a 30-day free trial at audible.com/explanationpoint or by texting explanation point to 500-500. Get 1 free audiobook, 2 free Audible originals, and access to Audible's litany of listenable literary luxuries. Link in the description. Or just text. Now on to this. Until her sister tears down her door and makes her, but that's a different discussion. A different discussion that we're going to have, because the reprise of For the First Time in Forever, my favorite moment in the movie, is made drastically different by choices that were made in translation. For the First Time in Forever is translated into French as Le Renewal, the Renewal, and it portrays French Anna, Franna, as being a more strong-willed and self-assured protagonist than American Anna is. Where the original English song begins with a bewildered Anna noting her circumstances, that the windows are open and the doors are open and she never realized how much silverware they had, heckin' 1%. Franna is a different beast. No, not that one. There we go. Franna begins the song not by noticing that the windows are open, but by saying, open the windows, let the air in, set the table, giving commands to her servants, an action, a directive, which clearly paints her as an authority figure, as opposed to the ditzy and lovably excitable Amarna. And this relative confidence, dare I say self-centeredness, is solidified in the song's chorus, where instead of saying, for the first time in forever, this or that good thing is going to happen, Franna says, I'm going to celebrate this renewal. And she follows it up with a song full of je and moi, without ever mentioning a single other person except for her hypothetical and currently fictional Prince Charming. At least Amarna says there'll be magic and fun and light, which, yes, she's excited about, but which are ultimately good for everyone. Franna says, I will celebrate this renewal in my satin dress. I will celebrate this renewal that gives me so much hope. In the magic of a story, by dancing until morning, I'll celebrate it with a goat, I'll celebrate it on a boat. I will celebrate this renewal, Sam I am. I won't be alone anymore. Me, I. And this decision to translate the song in such an Anna-centric way twists and changes the timbre of its reprise, which is arguably the most important scene in the film. The reprise of this song is when Anna goes to Elsa in her taxpayer-funded second castle and begs her sister to accept love and allow herself to be helped. Amarna begins the song by pleading with her sister not to shut her out, assuring her that she doesn't have to be shut away like this, and saying, for the first time in forever, I finally understand. Now, does she understand? Not a bit. She's under the impression that Elsa can just stop being an uncontrollable cryokinetic supervillain, and she spends the song doing the Disney equivalent of talking someone off a ledge by saying, why don't you just be happy though? Amarna doesn't show any deep understanding of Amaryllis's trauma, but she does try to help in her own naive way. It doesn't work, but there is an attempt, and it's Elsa's frustration at not being understood and left alone that leads her to blast her sister with ice and force her out of her life. When Amaryllis says, Anna, please, you'll only make it worse, she's telling the truth. Hearing trite nonsense about how she can just unfreeze it and how she and Anna will make the sunshine just emphasizes to Elsa how hopeless her situation is, because the only answer she's being given to her problems is one that she already knows will not work. And when she sends Anna back to Arendelle, it's an act of despair and self-loathing. In La Reine des Neiges, it's an act of anger. By its nature as a reprise, this song has to follow the same musical beats as For the First Time in Forever. In English, that's fine. For the First Time in Forever can refer to a lot of things. In French, though, that lyric begins with I. I will, I want, I'm going to celebrate this renewal, which instantly takes this song about Elsa's mental conflict, her despair, her broken identity, and makes it about Anna. And unlike her English counterpart, Franna does not begin this song by begging Elsa to let her in. She begins it just as she begins the original song, with a command. Don't close the door. You don't have the right to send me away because I want to celebrate this renewal. Franna has a picture in her head of what will make her life complete, and that picture includes dragging Frelsa back to Frerendel and living frappily ever after. And what makes this worse is that Franna does show a degree degree of deeper understanding. Because while Frelsa is screaming in anguish, literally saying, "Tell me how not to despair, your beautiful promises don't make any sense," Franna answers, "Together we'll do what it takes to get out of this torpeur," a word which doesn't translate very well. It means fatigue or drowsiness, but in this case it likely refers to Frelsa's darkened mental state, anguish, depression. So Franna understands, at least a little, that her sister is suffering on a level that's deeper than just being outed as a witch and thrown out of town. But in her childlike self-centeredness, she makes the entire situation all about her and what she wants. Not out of malice or frustration with her sister, but because she's a dang princess who's used to thinking of things in terms of what will make her happiest. To the point where when she tells Frelsa that Frerendel is covered in ice and tells her to provoke the de-thawing, and Frelsa basically tells her, "I can't do that any more than you can," Franna just shrugs her off and says, "Hey, look, you can do it because I want to celebrate this renewal." As if her personal desires to reconnect with her sister have the power to change how magic works. And Franna's inconsiderate pleas, her insistence that Frelsa come back for the sake of her own happiness, sets Frelsa off. In English, the last words of this song before Emerelsa blasts her sister with ice are, "I can't. I can't do what you think I can do. I'm too weak. I'm too scared. I'm too dangerous." In French, they're "Goodbye. You get out of my house. I don't want to see you. You are making things worse." And that is why I like La Reine des Neiges more than I like Frozen. Because this interpretation of Anna's personality makes both sisters go through a logical process of character development. The end of Frozen in English is just a Disney movie. A Marina who loves her sister more than anything sacrifices her life to save that same sister. And Emerelsa, doing really nothing, accepts the power of love, I guess, and through that is able to reverse all ice and make snowmen immortal and existential. It still does not make sense in French, but there is at least a logical thread that ties these events together. For Emerina, an act of selfless love is completely expected. She's altruistic, wanting people she loves to be happy without expecting anything in return. Franna isn't a mean or heartless person, but the reason she wants Frelsa to be happy so badly is because she is happy when the people around her are happy. And if the people she loves are sad and freezing to death, she cannot live happily ever after the way she wants to. She can't celebrate her renewal. So when Franna stops Franz's sword, knowing that it means she won't get to for Kristoff in time to keep herself from freezing to death, this is an act that goes against a previously established negative character traits. In other words, it's growth. Frelsa, seeing this, now has a precedent for significant personal change. She sees Franna and she knows that her sister has actively fought against and changed the personality traits that led her to commit sororicide. And her thought process goes, if you can become altruistic, can I become less closed off? In this way, the French film resolving with a power of love ending sort of works, with the change in Franna's person leading Frelsa to change herself, accepting love and calming the parts of her mind that told her she wasn't able to reverse the damage she'd done. This just doesn't happen in English. Emerina is compassionate and self-sacrificing from the get-go. Emerelsa's frustrations with Emerina are built on her own weakness, her own fear. And she doesn't stop being weak and afraid, she just gets away with it this time because a completely unrelated magical law about true love thawing a frozen heart happens to make everything better. And then, after nearly causing Emerina's death in like 3 different ways, Emerelsa decides, you know what, maybe I will just choose to be happy. And then she does, and everything's fine. Love, of course. This is why words matter. This is why I go so hard on insisting that people pay attention to the way things are written, on asking myself about the significance of every little background detail of every little scene in every little show, because little details add up to become significant aspects of a piece of art's character. In this case, somewhat subtle changes that were made in word choice and characterization by the translators altered entire character arcs, for the better, I would argue. And whether or not this was intentional
original doesn't matter. American fans of Frozen will have different conversations with each other than Canadian fans of La Reine des Neiges, and I think that's great. In an increasingly globalized society like the one we live in, popular high-budget productions like Frozen are becoming our unified culture, and I'm all for that. But for as long as different languages exist and translation maintains relevance as an art, those stories are going to change depending on who's listening. And that provides us with dozens of opportunities to re-experience those same stories through different people's eyes and to share our unique experiences with others through a shared cultural lens. This way, instead of assuming that you've seen a movie and it's done, we can experience the thrilling reality of having seen our movie, and then knowing that there are dozens more with new, cool, subtle things that make them unique. This is Frozen. It's a movie I like from my country. Oh, you have it there too? What's yours like?
This video would have gotten done a whole lot sooner if I weren't using my Audible subscription to listen to the Six of Crows audiobook by Leigh Bardugo. If you like German-coded Victorian-era heist stories in fully realized light fantasy settings wherein an arrogant 17-year-old cripple throws vicious snarkery at God and man alike, then boy howdy is this for you. And you can get it for free at audible.com/explanation point, link in the description, or by texting explanation point to 500-500, where you will also get 2 free Audible originals that you can't get anywhere else, along with a 30% discount on all regularly priced audiobooks. And all those audiobooks are yours to keep regardless of whether or not you stay subscribed. Anytime, any place, on any device. I personally like using Audible when I'm editing videos. It's nice to... Okay, I'm listening to music in that clip, I guess, but Audible's audio... Turn it off. Just turn it off. When you've got a packed schedule like I do, putting funny pictures on black backgrounds, then Audible is an excellent way to still get some reading done. Audible.com/explanation point, link in the description, or text explanation point to 500-500. Helps me, helps you. Thanks to Audible for sponsoring this video, and thanks to my patrons who sponsor every video I ever make. I could not do this without all of the people whose names and pictures you see here, or without today's lucky patron, username Elemental, who has been a $1 patron for over a year and a half. Thank you for your support, and thank all of you for your support, and remember to join us next time when we go back to anime to discuss the future of Japanimation in the virtual world. No, not that one. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, this has been Explanation Point, signing out.